Welcome to a journey through the untold stories and intriguing facts hidden within biblical tales, exploring beyond the familiar verses to unveil mysteries, cultural insights, and captivating histories that have shaped our understanding for centuries. The Bible is not just a religious text but also a rich historical document that reflects the everyday lives, politics, and economies of ancient civilizations in the Middle East, offering a unique glimpse into human history through spiritual narratives. Take the story of Noah's Ark. Beyond its flood narrative lies symbolism about human survival, environmental reckoning, and covenant, which resonates with many cultures that tell of great floods, pointing to historical floods in the ancient Near East. Mount Sinai, where Moses received the Ten Commandments, was a real place shrouded in mystery. Recent archaeological discoveries suggest possible locations and old trade routes that influenced the laws and customs recorded in the Bible. The original texts of the Bible were written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Each language adds layers of meaning and cultural context, and the process of translation over centuries has shaped how stories and doctrines are understood worldwide. Trade and commerce played a significant role in biblical times. Cities flourished through trade routes, linking distant lands and influencing the spread of ideas, technologies, and beliefs reflected within biblical narratives. Many biblical tales reflect the tension between emerging monotheism and older polytheistic traditions. Artifacts reveal worship practices and idols that influenced or conflicted with the evolving beliefs of the Israelite people. The story of David and Goliath symbolizes more than just a triumph of the underdog. It reflects the historical conflicts between tribes and kingdoms, portraying how faith and strategy combined in pivotal battles during ancient times. Understanding the geography of biblical events is critical. Territories shifted, and many named regions in the Bible correspond to real places that tell us about political alliances and conflicts that shaped history. The preservation of biblical texts was a meticulous process carried out by scribes who copied manuscripts by hand, preserving stories through centuries despite wear, political changes, and cultural transformations. The Tower of Babel story is often understood as an allegory about linguistic diversity. It also relates to ancient ziggurat towers built in Mesopotamia, symbolizing human ambition and divine boundaries in early civilization. Shepherding was a common occupation in biblical times, and many parables and teachings use shepherd imagery to convey care, protection, and guidance, reflecting the lifestyle and values of ancient communities. The parting of the Red Sea is one of the most dramatic miracles described in the Bible. Some scholars link it to natural phenomena like wind setdown, showing how natural events might have inspired these powerful stories. Food and feasting often accompanied biblical events, serving not just as physical nourishment but symbolic acts of covenant, celebration, or mourning, highlighting the social fabric of ancient groups. The Last Supper scene encapsulates themes of sacrifice, fellowship, and new beginnings. This meal, in the context of Jewish Passover traditions, takes on profound theological and historical layers within the Bible. Synagogues served as centers for worship and community. They represent how Jewish religious life evolved over centuries, shaping practices that continue to influence various faith traditions today. Prophetic writings in the Bible often combine poetic visions with historical context, reflecting social issues, hope, and warnings delivered by figures who influenced the direction of entire nations. The Garden of Eden serves as a symbolic archetype for paradise lost and humanity's relationship with nature, morality, and innocence, themes that echo through many cultures beyond just biblical tradition. Ancient laws detailed in the Bible reveal a complex legal system addressing justice, ethics, and societal order. These laws provide insight into the values and challenges faced by early communities. Jerusalem stands at the heart of many biblical stories, its walls and temples witnessing centuries of conflict, faith, and renewal, symbolizing spiritual aspiration and political power alike. Prophets in the Bible acted as messengers of change, challenging injustice and urging people to realign with divine principles, their voices echoing in social upheaval and transformation. Wars described in the Bible often reflect larger struggles for survival and dominance in ancient times. Archaeological evidence corroborates many battles, providing a window into military history. The story of Ruth emphasizes loyalty, kindness, and inclusion, weaving a narrative of personal devotion that transcends cultural boundaries and speaks to universal human values. Temples were centers of worship and cultural identity. Their architecture and rituals reflect theological developments and the importance of sacred spaces in biblical religion. Inscriptions and epigraphs provide critical evidence for biblical history, validating events and people mentioned in scriptures and offering tangible links to past civilizations. The Jordan River functions as a symbol of purification, transition, and promise. It's central in biblical accounts of baptism, conquest, and renewal, echoing spiritual journeys. Festivals marked the rhythm of life in biblical times, blending religious observance with social celebration, reinforcing community bonds and cultural identity through joyous gatherings. Pottery shards discovered by archaeologists tell stories of daily life, trade, and artistic expression, illuminating how biblical peoples lived, worked, and interacted with their environment. Angelic beings in the Bible represent divine messengers and protectors. Their vivid descriptions reveal how people visualized spiritual forces interacting with the human world. Jonah's story, rich with metaphor, explores themes of obedience, mercy, and second chances. It's an enduring narrative that challenges individuals about compassion and divine will. The Exodus is foundational in biblical tradition, symbolizing liberation and faith under adversity. Archaeology and history enrich understanding of this epic journey, shaping identity and hope. Vineyards and wine are recurrent symbols in biblical texts, representing prosperity, blessing, and sometimes warning of excess, reflecting agricultural practices essential to ancient economies. Jesus' teachings by the lakeside offer profound lessons in humility, love, and forgiveness, communicated through parables deeply rooted in the everyday experiences of his audience. Biblical feasts often held symbolic meanings beyond sustenance, representing divine covenant, communal unity, and significant milestones in religious history and personal faith journeys. Art and symbolism have preserved biblical stories for centuries, with mosaics, paintings, and sculptures enriching how communities visualize and connect with sacred narratives. The Garden Tomb is an important site for many believers, believed to be the location of Jesus' burial and resurrection, carrying profound spiritual meaning and historical debate. Early Christians faced persecution but preserved their faith and stories through secret gatherings, letter writing, and oral tradition, laying foundations for one of the world's major religions. The Dead Sea, referenced multiple times in the Bible, is famed for its healing properties and harsh environment, symbolizing judgment and preservation in biblical literature. The Ark of the Covenant represents God's presence among the people, an object of immense spiritual significance with mysteries and traditions that continue to intrigue historians and theologians. The Sea of Galilee was a backdrop for many biblical stories of faith and miracles. Its waters sustained communities and symbolized peace, reflection, and spiritual depth. Samson's saga is a powerful narrative of strength, vulnerability, and destiny. His struggles offer insights into human flaws and divine purpose explored through dramatic biblical storytelling. Studying biblical texts involves layers of history, language, and interpretation, inviting readers to explore diverse perspectives and deeper meanings behind well-known stories. Prayer and meditation scenes depict intimate moments of faith and reflection, revealing personal connections between individuals and the divine through biblical tradition. The aftermath of biblical battles captures the human cost of conflicts rooted in faith, power, and survival, reminding us of the complex history behind sacred texts. Church art preserves biblical stories and theological concepts, communicating spiritual truths visually to generations and enriching community identity and worship. Markets were hubs where ideas and cultures mingled, influencing biblical narratives with a blend of local and foreign traditions, seen in stories that bridge many worlds. Symbolism in biblical tales often draws from nature, where rivers, trees, and light represent life, hope, and divine guidance, enriching the spiritual landscape of these ancient stories. The resurrection is central to Christian faith, embodying renewal, victory over death, and the promise of eternal life, themes that resonate deeply across cultures and history. Scholarship on biblical texts continues to evolve, with new findings and interpretations illuminating forgotten contexts and enriching our appreciation of these timeless narratives. The ruins of biblical cities tell stories of glory, destruction, and rebirth, offering tangible connections to the past and reminders of the enduring legacy of these ancient tales.